These people need to put on their, either it's adult pants or diapers.
Adult diapers.
And find something. Find something, because the madness has to end.
Did you listen to the Hot Breakfast this morning? Here's what you missed.
The Maandamanos are happening. Whether they are legal or illegal, they are happening. And that's where we need to start from. Because if you say that picketing and demonstrations are constitutionally allowed, then first the police need to tell us that why are they stopping the demonstrations? If the demonstrators are breaking the law, what action have they been taken against? Ask yourself, Jeff, what was happening at Northlands? Where were the police? We saw police in hundreds in CBD and around where demonstrations are happening. What was happening in Kibra at night? Where were the police? Distress calls are coming. Oh, we are being vermured, and there's no power. The power has gone off, and so everybody's in darkness. You don't know who is attacking you.
The property of the family of the retired president. I think it was a very unfortunate case. One, they didn't need to report that there's an incident that has happened. There were already reports on social media. I thought even DCI were out there taking pictures to deal with bad elements. Where were they not taking pictures there? I think the issue of police, there should have been a response. When there was the reports, they should have gone to ascertain. I don't think the family needed to make a report or somebody needed to file a complaint that we are under attack or this is happening. And the extent of damage that was done was actually massive, because there were structures that were pulled down. Irrigation systems that cost millions were pulled apart. Animals were taken away. I think yesterday turned into some rogue situation, a level of anarchy, and I think there should be some step back by everyone. Everyone has their hardline position. Yesterday there was a similar attack at Spectre.
East Africa.
And when the head of security spoke to us, he said he's grateful that the police responded. They were there when they saw what was happening everywhere. They were there and they responded, and those individuals that were there took off. There should have been a similar situation, which takes me back to a question or a story that we did some time back. There was the recalling of extensive security allocated to, there's, according to the Retired President's Act, the retired president is entitled to certain level of security that guards his rural home and urban home. But when this issue of recalling came about, they said there were so many officers guarding vast properties that are spread across the country. And that if you need extra security, you can go to the National Police Service, request the IG, you're given police officers, then you pay the terms. So I don't know if there were police officers that were guarding this property at the time of that attack. If there were people that had been deployed there, where were they to offer that response? Did they also pull back? Did they look from a distance? Those are questions that I think need to be followed up today to know where were police officers, if there were any, guarding that facility.
And there was a video that was doing the round where someone spoke about, people will raid your farms. You know those videos that come before?
That was a week ago.
That was a week ago.
Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah. And unfortunately, Nick, is that I don't expect him to be arrested.
And he won't be.
He won't be, because he's politically correct right now. He won't be arrested. If that was Babu Wino that had spoken those words, and the people followed through and went and attacked a public office or a property belonging to a former president or even a sitting president, even that, if that was an opposition MP, hata kama angeguzia tu, not saying exactly what Kimani Ichung'wah said, because Kimani Ichung'wah was explicit in what he was saying. He was saying, hata tutaanzia mbali, we will start from here, Ruiru. That's where we will start before you go to Taita Taveta and we go to Nakuru. We will start from here in Ruiru. And true to his word, they started in Ruiru. And so, where law abiding and where the systems are working, by now Ichung'wah should be behind bars answering to questions, incitement.
It should be a person of interest.
Yes, it should be a person of interest, but it won't happen.
When you see some of the social media postings that are being done by leaders that are holding very influential positions, it raises a lot of questions, because then many ask, where is the country headed? If leaders that have been, whether elected or appointed, are appearing to use social media to fuel very unfortunate scenes, because after what happened yesterday, and maybe some are saying that it is the top that are now fighting, it is the top leadership that are fighting themselves, it is not at the bottom, but it is cascading to the bottom. When you start hearing of tension being reported in border counties, border towns, it brings that fear, because we always say we learned a lesson in 2007. What is developing now is no longer just community or political war. It's degenerating into personal. It is borderline class war, and when you move to that, and then you start having religious intolerance also, there's nothing worse than an religion-driven conflict, because that everyone stands by their belief. This is my God, this is your God, this is our belief. I think something needs to be nipped in the bud before we have something that is blossoming that is going to be very dangerous. And for future even elections. Yes. There's a question that one of our colleagues posted on social media and said, when you take that ship home, what do you tell your children? That you worked hard?
Or when your kids see you on TV?
Like, really? Yeah. That's why we had to put those videos to show the number plates. You need to call out and shame individuals that, are perpetrating such a bad vice. I don't know where, really, at this point, where the country is headed.
I think with just the morality, the fabric of our country is just broken. It's broken. Yeah. Because the first thing we should do is to call out these hardliners, Jeff. Because the fact is that even if we condemn the hustlers that went and attacked Uhuru's home, even if we condemn the hustlers that are in the demos that are always throwing stones and attacking the police, if we don't deal with the leadership, that's where the problem is. Because if you hear what Ichung'wah is saying, if you hear what Moses Kuria is saying, if you hear what say Babu Owino is saying on the other side, or Edwin Sifuna is saying on the other side, these things will continue. And like we've been saying before, we are still in that election mode. There are people who believe whatever Babu Owino says is the gospel truth, or whatever, sorry for using Babu Owino so much, or whatever say Orengo says is the gospel truth. Whatever Kimani Ichung'wah or Ndindi Nyoro will be saying on the other side is the gospel truth. And that's where we have not matured enough politically to decipher some of these things and say, this can't be right. And it's not just the common man down there.
Imagine yesterday at Spectre International, if maybe somebody had come and had a cigarette butt or something. This is a gas plant. Like, that's where at some point you need to call yourself and ile unasema nimejiita mkutano. Have a small meeting in your head and then think about what situation you're pushing. So today, I think we need to see a lot of action from across, I don't know where, because anyway, the government was silent. We saw IPOA yesterday saying they'll investigate the incidents of, the shooting incidents in the different areas of Migori and Kisumu. And then also why there were no police officers guarding or reacting to the situation in the Northlands and also Spectra. I think there should be action.
I think they need to act. I don't expect that a government will result to using vigilantes also. Right. Why would a government resort to using vigilantes? In Kibra, in Northland, and
pictures of pangas.
Yes, pangas.
Did we learn anything from 2007, 2008? I mean, we're stoking these flames. You know that. And all it takes is one incident.
And we think that these things just happen. It doesn't just happen. It builds up. It slowly builds up. I think the government needs to up its game. I think the dialogue that we've been called. The problem is that we don't trust anybody right now. The religious leaders you can't say you trust them. Both of these sides don't trust them. Raila Odinga and William Ruto, there have been calls for them to come and sit down. But to what end?
And then, there's a bit of ego, the president's side, opposition leader's side. Wednesday, ndio imefika, kidogo it's Thursday. What's the best way forward? Because I'm not sure the president will be back before that.
And yesterday there were utterances of do we do it Monday to Monday?
Every day.
Yes, that was a soundbite you had on air from Babu Owino and Bakasi STMP. Said, munataka tuanze hii Monday to na Thursday, situweke Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, amid cheers. If it goes to that, what country? Okay, I not even say what country will we have.
Sana
What
Kisumu and
dash will we have, because literally it will not be a country.
No, it won't
And
be.
then I think also what is maybe fueling a bit of what is some sort of division is, there are those from other regions that are saying, when you see the protests, they are only happening in specific areas. Our lives are going on.
When Nairobi coughs,
And
Yes.
the whole country catches a cold.
Yes.
Capital.
And so, because this is the capital and it controls the big chunk of our economy.
Yeah.
I was reading somewhere, Kenya is basically a 40 billion economy per day. And so if every Monday we are distracting it by, say, 10 billion, and Thursday another 10 billion, that's huge. That's huge for the country. And we can't move on by doing that. And eventually, reason has to prevail. Reason must prevail between President William Ruto, his deputy
Azimio
Rigathi Gachagua, Azimio leader Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka and Martha Karua. Reason must prevail.
And even their foot soldiers.
These are, the foot soldiers are the problem, actually.
Correct.
Because I tend to think that the hardliners are mostly the foot soldiers, because those are the people that have invested so much, both emotionally, financially, and everything. And so they believe that whatever their stand is, then it must be what should happen.
And here's the saddest part, guys. Now they're attacking our own journalists in the field being attacked.
That is the saddest part.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's the saddest part.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I in our WhatsApp group, the first person to be attacked yesterday Seth Olale and his crew.
Yeah.
And he was sharing those pictures and videos, and we were saying, guy, run. This is
No story is worth your life.
This is bad.
It's not worth dying
And the moment you intimidate journalists,
Yeah.
you have intimidated everybody, and to make it worse is that the people who are attacking are said to have been this government vigilante that were sent yesterday.
Quote, unquote, yes.
Yes, quote unquote, the government vigilantes. And so, with utterances that have been ongoing from senior leaders, you tend to think that there's a plan to intimidate journalists, to make them not do what they're supposed to be doing. And once a journalist is intimidated, then a Kenyan will not know the truth.
Yeah.
Because if going to Kibra at night to go and cover a mosque or a church burning is what can cost me my life, then I would rather not go. And that will give into rumors and propagandas and social media taking over, and which is even worse.
In fact, the incident that maybe spurred an attack on one of our colleagues was when the person thought that they would go and request them.
For an interview.
For an interview, and that allow us to take pictures. That's when they realized, so you guys are here. That's when
they roughed up,
yes,
and
they roughed,
the NTV,
they roughed up the
and the
NTV
Nation
body,
guys.
yeah.
Raila Odinga has spoken about this, that there were plans and everything. And yesterday he shared a video of that ambulance, that was following them, and they thought ni ambulance ya kubeba dawa na nini kutoka ndani ni vigilantes na mapanga na bunduki. And so like I said, one small thing leads to another. Before you know it, we can't manage each other, because if you are doing that, then say you are Uhuru Kenyatta, your land has been invaded, your sheep has been taken, and goats and property burned. What do? How is Uhuru Kenyatta expected to behave? Keep silent and shut up? This is something you worked for, and so.
And your family and your property and your privacy, and you worry about these things.
You worry
if you can't be protected as a former president.
You
look for ways of protecting yourself.
Would you say the talks or rumors that they want to change how protests are governed will bring any impact or make things worse?
Kenya enjoys the freedom that Kenyans have is out of this world, and any attempt to curtail on those freedoms will not go.
Don't go down well.
No,
Don't go
It
down
won't.
so.
Look at what is happening now. Everyone is enjoying the fruit of freedom. So I think the only thing is that these people need to put on their, either it's adult pants or diapers.
Adult diapers.
And find something. Find
Yeah.
something, because the madness has to end.
It has to end. Look at
It has to end.
Look at the headline in the
Yes,
Nation.
Yes,
I
yes.
love this. You know, it's
Stop
madness,
this
literally. It's
madness.
madness. Yeah, because where the nation is heading, it's going to spur unnecessary conflict.
I foresee somebody going to court to appeal that judgment, and I foresee a lot of resistance from opposition MPs if the proposals by Kindiki are coming to Parliament, because it will literally be curtailing what the freedom that we have right now. And remember, that is one of our mainstays of our constitution, the freedom of assembly, the freedom of expression, and all those freedoms. And if you are going to curtail them, then believe you me, there are going to be lots and lots of resistance.
Gowin, you out in the field as many of our colleagues. Between now and Thursday, we're 48 hours away. Can anything be done to stop the madness?
One, I think today is one of those days you're waiting to see whether there will be first a statement from government officials about what transpired yesterday. It does not help that the IG says the assembly is illegal. Look at what it has done last week, Monday, this Monday. Now this Thursday, you say it's illegal again. What is it that you're changing about this? I think between these 2 days, there should be a meeting or talks. Even if it's not, these talks, everyone when mentioned talks, it appears it is a handshake. Oh, I want shelf government, or, you're still saying I'm an illegitimate president. I think there's a point where the leaders have to do something, because businesses are hurting. Schools calendar is being affected. Individuals' lives are really being disrupted. All for what? When we started doing this show, when the talk of the protest happened, one of the questions we said was, what is the end game? You still struggle to see what is the end game. Now that is where we need to find what is the end game.
Today, I expect very strong sentiments, reactions from both, especially the MPs, both government and opposition MPs. I expect blame game. I expect finger pointing and people saying, oh, it's because of you, it's the load of poverty, it's the load of all those things. I expect people to go at each other's throat. And that won't help.
No.
It won't help.
No.
I think this is beyond the foot soldiers. This is basically between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. If they wanted to end this thing, they will end it. If not, it can't. And especially William Ruto. Because I've said before, to whom much is given, much is expected. If William Ruto took the bull by its horns and said this thing has to end, I'm the president, I am done this, I won this thing, but the country needs to move forward. So what next? You are the president, you are the one governing. What can you do to make sure that Kenyans have ample time to work and do everything they need to do to build the economy each and every Monday and Thursday, instead of us having these running battles, police using lots of resources just to stay in the CBD and water cannons and tear gas. So it is basically on President William Ruto.
Kenya has always been that beacon of peace in the East Africa region, the Horn of Africa, and by extension, really Africa. So this is also, ruining that image, which also affects investor confidence. You're rising from a season where not all is well. So if you're going to boost investor confidence, one needs to know that, hey, now we'll be going into an election season. This is not even an electioneering period, but the country is not operating on optimum. In any case, it's violence. So what safety do I have in putting my investment here? Maybe I should take it to Rwanda.
Just like that.
And you see, Tanzania is mocking when there was the issue about how much import cover we have in terms of the dollars. Yeah. Tanzania, Samia Suluhu was saying, we have enough. It's not like another neighbor of ours.
Which you did mention.
Yes, we did not mention. But, when dry bones are mentioned, old men get jittery. So you already know that, hey, looks like somebody is saying something about me. So I think the image of Kenya is also at stake. People need to look beyond their noses. They need to look farther. And that if really then the cost of living is a problem. Is this going to solve? Is that hardline position going to give you conducive environment to deliver?